Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news, so folks, hold on to your hats because what I'm about to tell you could be one of the most seismic shifts in the AFC East in recent memory. Word out there is that the Buffalo Bills are making a serious push to land none other than Nick Bosa, the superstar pass rusher from the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, you heard that right. Bosa, a four-time Pro Bowler and one of the most dominant defensive players in the league, could soon be donning the Bills' colors. Now, I know it sounds like a blockbuster trade, and honestly it kind of is because it's not every day you see a player of Bosa's caliber potentially heading to Buffalo. But the rumors are heating up, and the insiders, including Adam Schefter, are reporting that the 49ers are open to trading Bosa, possibly in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2026 draft. Let's break down what this could mean for the Bills and the league as a whole. The 49ers, sitting at 6-3 right now, are a solid team, but they've been facing some tough choices. With Bosa, they're looking at a cap hit of around $26. $5 million for 2025, and they've been giving up a fair number of points, about 23 per game, which isn't bad but not elite either. They're prioritizing their quarterback situation and other roster needs, which means Bosa, despite being a game changer, might be on the move if the right offer comes along. For the Bills, adding Bosa would be like plugging a massive hole in their pass rush, which has been a bit inconsistent this season. The impact of Bosa joining the Bills would be enormous. Buffalo has already been making strides defensively with players like Von Miller, who's been a force on the edge. But adding Bosa would take their pass rush to a whole new level. We're talking about pairing him with Miller, creating a duo that could be the best in the league. Bosa's elite pass rushing skills, he's racked up 5 sacks in his career, with 17 in just 2023 alone, would give opposing quarterbacks nightmares. His ability to generate pressure, with a pressure rate of around 22%, and his consistency in forcing turnovers, with 10 forced fumbles and 10 fumble recoveries so far, make him a true game wrecker. And let's not forget, the Bills' defense has been solid overall, but they've struggled at times to finish plays and generate consistent pressure without Miller. With Bosa, they could dominate the line of scrimmage, creating chaos in the backfield and giving their secondary much-needed help. His presence would also free up other defenders, allowing them to get more one-on-one opportunities and make more plays. And if you look at the numbers, adding a player like Bosa would immediately improve their metrics: more sacks, more pressures, more turnovers, and a significant drop in points allowed per game. Now, we should consider how this move fits into the Bills' overall strategy. Buffalo has been aggressive this season, especially on offense with Josh Allen leading the charge. Allen's been performing at a high level, but he needs a defense that can keep opponents from scoring and keep the game close. With Bosa in the fold, the Bills could become an even more complete team, capable of forcing more turnovers and controlling the line of scrimmage. This would give Allen and the offense more opportunities to capitalize, especially in close games and playoff battles. Of course, there are some caveats. The 49ers are very cautious with their assets, and trading Bosa would be a huge gamble. They're capping at around $26. $5 million for 2025, and they're also considering their cap space and draft capital. But let's be honest, the Bills are not shy about making bold moves when the opportunity presents itself. If they can acquire Bosa without giving up too much in terms of draft picks or cap space, it could be a game changer. And remember, Buffalo is well-positioned financially to make such a move happen after this season, and they've shown they're willing to go all in when it comes to Super Bowl contention. Moving beyond the hypothetical, the overall impact on the AFC East would be huge. The Bills would instantly become a top-tier defensive team, capable of shutting down some of the best offenses in the league. That kind of pressure on opposing quarterbacks could tilt the balance of power in the division. The Patriots and Dolphins are still formidable, but a Bosa-led Bills defense would make life very difficult for them. Plus, the AFC as a whole would have to reckon with a Bills team that's not just explosive on offense, but also terrifyingly dominant on defense. Looking at the bigger picture, this move could be the start of a new era for the Bills. We've seen how a dominant pass rush can elevate a team. Think of the 2022 Bills with Von Miller, or the dominant defenses that led teams deep into the playoffs. Buffalo has been knocking on the door, and with Bosa, they could finally push through. It's also about setting a precedent, showing the league that the Bills are all in, ready to challenge for a Super Bowl every year. That kind of mentality is infectious, and it can energize the entire roster and fan base. Now, some fans might be asking, what about the cap space? Well, Buffalo currently has around $3 million available, but smart maneuvering and perhaps some restructuring could free up enough room to accommodate Bosa's contract. Plus, with the NFL's current cap environment, teams are getting more creative, signing extensions, restructuring deals, and moving money around. It's not impossible for the Bills to make this work if they're truly committed to making a splash. And then there's the question of timing. If the trade happens before the deadline, it would give Bosa plenty of time to gel with his new teammates and learn the Bills' defensive schemes. That chemistry could be the final piece in Buffalo's championship puzzle. If it's a post-deadline move, it still signals that the Bills are willing to pounce on any opportunity to strengthen their roster for a deep playoff run. The fans are buzzing, and rightfully so, because if this trade comes to fruition, the Bills would instantly become one of the most feared defenses in the league. Imagine the pressure on opposing quarterbacks when they see Bosa lining up across from them, knowing full well that he can change the game at any moment. It's a scary thought, and one that could make the Bills not just playoff contenders, but Super Bowl favorites. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Of course, this isn't just about adding a star player. It's about the message it sends to the rest of the league and, more importantly, to the Bills' locker room. Buffalo has been building a core of talented players who are hungry for success. The addition of a player like Bosa would send a clear signal that this team is all about winning now, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to bring a Super Bowl back to Orchard Park. Fans have been waiting patiently, and the hope is that this move, if it happens, could be the catalyst that propels Buffalo into that elite tier. And what about the other side? The 49ers on their end are clearly weighing their options. They're in a position where they might prioritize freeing up cap space or acquiring draft picks to rebuild or retool for the future. Bosa, as a player, is a franchise cornerstone, but if the trade offers are right, they might decide to part ways. The skeptics might say, why would San Francisco give up such a key piece? But the reality is that in today's NFL, even the best players are sometimes moved if the trade makes sense for the franchise's long-term plans. Now, looking at the numbers, Bosa's production in 2023 has been nothing short of spectacular. He's recorded 9 solo tackles, 8 assisted tackles, and 17 combined tackles, along with 2 sacks and 9 yards gained from pressures. His PFF grade is an elite 89, ranking him among the top 5 defensive ends in the league. His pressure rate of 22% and his ability to generate big plays, like forced fumbles and fumble recoveries, make him a true disruptor. These numbers aren't just stats, they're game changers. For the Bills, adding Bosa wouldn't just be about individual accolades. It's about elevating the entire defense and creating a nightmare scenario for opposing offenses. The duo of Bosa and Miller could form one of the most lethal pass-rushing tandems in the league, and that kind of pressure can alter the outcome of games. It's about setting the tone, making teams afraid to drop back into pass protection and forcing mistakes. In terms of team chemistry, if Buffalo can pull this off, it would be a masterstroke. The Bills' coaching staff, led by Sean McDermott, has always emphasized a strong defense. Bringing in a player of Bosa's caliber aligns perfectly with that philosophy. It would give the team confidence, knowing they have a game wrecker on the edge who can take over when it matters most. On offense, this would translate into more opportunities for Josh Allen, who can play more aggressively, knowing that his defense can hold up and generate turnovers. Looking ahead, the Bills' schedule remains challenging, with playoff seeding still very much up for grabs. Securing a top seed depends on their ability to win tough games, and a defense that can pressure the quarterback consistently is a massive advantage. Bosa's arrival could be the difference maker, especially in high-stakes games where every possession counts. It's about building a team that's not just good but great, one capable of weathering the storms of the postseason and making a deep run. Fans have been craving a true dominant defense, especially after falling just short in the playoffs last year. Buffalo's offense is explosive, but the league has shown that to win championships, you also need a defense that can impose its will. Bosa could be that final piece to turn the Bills into a complete powerhouse. Imagine the scenario. A Bills team that can score at will on offense and suffocate opponents with relentless pressure on defense. That's the kind of team that can go all the way. Of course, there's always the question of how much it will cost and whether the Bills are willing to make such a bold move. But if history has taught us anything, the Bills are no strangers to swinging for the fences when it counts. They've shown they're willing to invest in their championship window, and adding Bosa would be a statement of intent. It's about making a statement that Buffalo is here to stay and that they're ready to take down the best of the best in the league. The fans are buzzing, and the chatter on social media is intense. Everyone is speculating, dreaming about what this defense could look like with Bosa in the mix. It's an exciting time to be a Bills supporter, and if this trade happens, it could change everything. We're talking about a team that's already competitive, but with Bosa, the sky's the limit. It's the kind of move that can turn a good team into a legendary one. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and TO, the Buffalo Bills. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news.